Hey guys, Boston Bruce here. Operation A View to a Kill, and after 20 turns, the game has ended with an Allied victory. Even though the score is currently 7-7. It's there's no way the Allies won't win this game. I mean, it's actually they've controlled this game for quite a few turns now. The amount of money they're making. And this is not actually updated since the American turn. I think it's up to date up to the Italian turn. And as you can see, the Americans are way out in front. British are up there. The Russians are making money, but the Axis are slow, not even slowly, quickly going down. I mean, Japan's down to 23, and like I said, that's before the American KMT turn, so they're probably down in teens now, probably up around 18, 19 or something, maybe. Not exactly sure. Uh, Final victory points, even like I said, 7-7, but the Allies are gonna eventually win. The Russians actually had their chance to win if they could have held on to this strategic objective of access to the Mediterranean. But Pete kind of misread the rules and thought all he had to do was have them. He misread about the shipyard has to be intact, and the Allies bombed it. There was no way to defend it. If he had seen it, he would have rapid built like 4 or 5 air naval bases. And then they would have had that, they wouldn't have been able to bomb them all, and he would have came up with an 8-7-7-6 victory. The Americans took them a long time to hit their tech, but they finally did. Once they got rockets, it was in Spear. That would put them to 8, which was just a matter of time. They would have got that next turn if they wanted, most likely. And same with Nanking. That would bring them up to 9. I think they could have took it next turn. If they had to try, they could have tried it last turn even. So that's the case there. And then they'd have went up to 11. Eventually, they'd take Malta or Italy. Like I said, the money was just way too much. The Comintern would have had to somehow build an army up here and taken northern Manchuria and South Sakhalin Island. Like I said, I haven't updated it since the American turns, but the Americans had already taken the Kuril Islands there. And the KMT, I believe they took Shangtung and Suion. Yeah, Suion up here, I think. I'm not sure. I don't remember. Like I said, I didn't update the board, but they took care of this little fleet here. They were able to bomb the Marine that took the Pacific Northwest, but the fleet was still intact. They had moved up towards Atuka. They had cleared these sea zones. There was nothing I could do over here. Eventually, they'd come for Japan itself after they took care of Nanking. I kind of felt like I was getting ganged up on most of the game. I mean, the Anzacs basically didn't do much but just lend lease constantly to the KMT. Basically, that's where all their cash went. And the KMT gradually made money too. They evolved, which was nice to see. It's always cool. Hats off to the Allies, Hambone and Silk. They played great. I mean, I held Malaya there for quite a while, but once we decided there was no need for me to hold it because we were going to hold Malta instead. And that happened when the British decided to take their entire fleet out of the Med. Actually, I think it was their whole fleet on the board, except for what's probably still up here. Yeah, this light carrier and some coastal defense ships and torpedo boat destroyers. Everything else came this way. These were all new ships. And I wound up sinking it somewhere out by Malaya. It got sank. And, it just seemed like I was constantly under pressure here. I mean, the Russians tried to come up here a couple of times. They paid the price. They knew not to mess around, so they left. went and cowered over in Novosibirsk. They were even scared of the KMT, Not sure why. But anyway, the CCP, we eliminated them early in the game. They weren't a problem. But the KMT, I mean, they didn't do a good job of blocking off the Lend-Lease, from the Anzacs, like I said, mostly, even the Far East Command. Like I said, I had Siam, I had Burma, I had all that at one time. But slowly but surely, I mean, I'm getting banged from all sides. The United Kingdom is sending stuff, the Anzacs are sending stuff, the KMT's building stuff, the Americans are sending stuff. So, yeah, it was a rough go of it. I mean, we wound up to get Tito Battaglia. We were lucky enough to get improved constructions and large ship construction early enough. You always want to kind of get that with Japan. And, I still had a pretty huge Navy left here. And actually, most of my Air Force was still intact, too, other than that sea battle where I got kind of beat up when I lost both my tactical bombers down there, which was kind of rough. And like I said, these ships, those are gone. These have been sunk. But the Americans are thinned out, too. They're a little spread out. And like I said, I still had a pretty big fleet up here with, looks like 5 heavy battleships, a couple regular battleships. So anyway, and plenty of troops in mainland Japan. I probably had 8, 16, close to 20 something infantry on Japan itself, some anti-aircraft artillery. We had still troops here over and stuff. And I probably would have fucking dropped this airborne out in freaking Russia somewhere just to take a couple bucks off the Russians. Who knows where he was going? I could have maybe dropped him down. It was hard. He had a pretty good defense there with fighters and the aircraft guns where I really couldn't fly over many of those zones. I still held some territory. Still had Sarawak and West Timor and Celebes, Dutch New Guinea, the Solomon Islands, Atuka I still had it at this turn. I still had Guam. Like I said, it was just a matter of time, and we both seen it 2 or 3 turns ago. It was very obvious. Chris took a chance to turn 20 to try and take Spain. It didn't work. Spain's tough. I mean, you get, especially once the Americans are in Portugal, because, I mean, the odds are you're only going to hold it 2 turns, unless you got a lot of stuff left. And, if the Russians are building a little less than the Italians, it's going to be close, and the Republicans did pretty good hitting recruitment rolls, considering. Actually, the problem was they both had territories, because when you're rolling down, you're counting these territories down here that the Republicans are getting, so it winds up they pretty even on the recruitment rolls. And, late game we Lend-Leased a little bit from the Italians, and the Germans Lend-Leased some armor, but, as you can see, they still got both their aircraft, 5 infantry there. So, I mean, it didn't go down like we wanted, but hey, we gave it a shot. This Italian Navy did a number on this American fleet. Yeah, so that was holding out nice. But there was a huge, massive force of British troops up here that, this would have been a nice fight over here. If they want to come out of Istanbul, at least invulnerable up here. But, I mean, the Russians, if they wanted, I believe they could have came down here, and I think they would have did all right. I think they could have been on the offensive here a little bit, maybe buy some offensive units and take care of this stuff down here. Eventually they could have, I think. They were definitely in much better shape than the Axis. Much better shape. I mean, there was a small threat up here, but that was minor. I mean, it would have took a while, but before they built enough, they didn't have enough aircraft up here, the Allies, to really mess with the Russians up there. But they were threatening them enough that, they had to do some stuff up here, otherwise they could lose a victory point. And even then, the game goes long enough, they're going to drop down. They could throw a couple extra factories here, drop a couple heavy armor every turn. I mean, and then threaten them in Transcaucasia. And eventually they'd be threatening them over here too, because I wouldn't be able to defend this. So it was just, like I said, a matter of time. I mean, the game staying tied only helps the Allies. It doesn't help us. And, we were at 7, no way to get to 8. There's no way I'm going down here and take these islands back. There's no way I'm taking Malta and Burma and all that to get that point. So that ain't happening. Buffer zone, I'd have to take Hawaii, Midway, and Wake. Yeah, there ain't much there right now, but I don't have the units to do that either. That's the problem. And they got, like I said, they'll take Guam most likely and Akitu-Kakis. I really didn't do his term, and I'm sure doesn't take much. I'm not defending it too heavily. Yeah, I could go crazy and drop down a fort there and a couple coastal guns and, just, spend all my money there. But, for one turn, but that's one turn. The next turn they got more guys there that I can't. I don't have any money left, Just ain't happening. So, it was our goal was hopefully win the game early, and it didn't happen. We were in position at one time. I think it was turn 17, I believe. Yeah, turn 17, if we'd have got a 1 or a 2, we would have won the game. Then on turn 18, we were tied with the Comintern and the Allies. I think at that point, they were in position. I think they could have took a point away from us, probably, and given the win to the Comintern, but no need for them to do that. The following turn was basically the same deal, where they could have took a point away from us, and again made it a Comintern victory, but no need to do that. And the last game, same deal. They could have probably tried to take a turn away from us. If they didn't hit tech, they're going to leave the game tied. And like I said, they controlled the game for the last 4 turns or so anyway, And, that's how this game goes. The longer the game goes, usually it benefits the Allies. The shorter the game, the access. And, it almost has to be that way, because if it ain't, it would be an Axis victory all the time, because they always start out with the most. And then the Comintern always do pretty well, too. And, we've been discussing some of the stuff back and forth. Some of these are very hard to obtain, some of these objectives. The Spain objective, hard to obtain, hard to hold, because it's you have to hold it till the end of the game. You have to have Madrid. And if once the war's over, the Allies can invade Spain. And I mean, Spain is not going to, all that does is add Basque Country, Western, no, there's this one, Galicia, Leon, and Western Andalusia, East, just there's 3-4 places where the Allies can invade. Spain can't defend that. And the Germans can't defend all that and then try and defend all the coast all the way up, and then defend against the Russians coming, and then help out Italy when they come into war. So, I mean, Spain is like very tough, very, very tough. I don't know. Not sure about that one. Also, it's pretty hard to hold Warsaw and Spain, Warsaw and Central Romania boat. So, I don't know. We'll see next game how this goes. We're going to be switching up. I'm not sure what Octopussy is the name of the next game. And in Octopussy, I will be playing Great Britain this time. So, tough shoes to fill, as they kind of dominated this game, Great Britain and the U.S., and me and Panzer J are hooking up again. Panzer J will be playing the USA. Taking over for Germany will be Global War Enthusiasts will be playing Germany. And then playing Russia will be Silk. He will be playing Russia. And over to Japan will be Hambone. We'll be playing Japan. So him and Chris will be going head to head. Chris playing the KMT and the Americans. I'll be trying to be a thorn in his side also, playing the Anzacs. And the Far East Command. There's the Anzacs. Far East Command. So we'll see how that goes. Also, Global War will be playing Italy. We'll see his strategy for how to get Italy into the war. I think Chris did a pretty good job with Italy. They wound up kicking the ass of the American Navy over there, which was really nice. But the American Navy can drop down ships every turn, and the Italians are making $7. So. Just a matter of time. Same thing to Brits. The Brits were throwing ships down here all the time. So it was just a rough situation at the end for the Axis. So we all decided, and the Comintern felt they didn't have much of a chance either. So, as I said, they could get to 8, and they would have held this next time. They would have held that. They would have held Istanbul, Helsinki for no problem. Warsaw, Central Romania, all their cities were well defended. So, they would have got to 8, stayed at 8, but getting 9 would have been hard because they had to take Manchuria. So, and the Allies, eventually would be at 11, 12, as the game goes on. So, and we were in sudden death, so we knew the final outcome, so we agreed to surrender. They wanted unconditional. I'm not sure Hitler's terms what he got, but I got to keep an influence up in Seattle. I gave the Chinese back Nanking. We'll see. I don't know. There's still Russian influence up here in China, so we'll see what happens there. I got to keep Japan, though, so with a little garrison force, maybe, just to keep me in line. But a major Allied victory. I think, like I said, the score really doesn't depict really how far ahead they really are. The score says still, like I said, 7-7-7, and that looks like a real close game, and it was close, but they're really inevitable to get to. Like I said, they're gonna get Spear back, brings them to 8. Nanking brings them to 9. Eventually, they would take Malta. That brings them to 11. Right there. That's it. Maybe the Russians could have made a push to Berlin, maybe. But again, that benefits the Allies also, because if you got to defend Berlin, then everyone else is coming this way, and that just leaves Paris open for the Brits, and that's a 2-point swing also. So there was nothing good could happen as far as this game going any longer for the Axis or the Comintern. So we look forward to breaking down our boards and setting up for the next game, Octopussy, sometime next week. I'll have a bunch of new pieces to put out, as I bought a lot of the expansion sets. I got the little guys going in Siam. I'll have some Warlords. Bought the Warlord base set. I bought the Polish set. I bought a Finnish set. I bought the CCP set, but I got a lot of CCP troops, so I may use them somewhere else. We'll see. We'll see what I do with those guys. Maybe just buy more sets and make more. But anyway, this is Boston Bruce signing out with my recap of this video. Like I said, everybody played a great game. I love playing with Chris on my side too. He did a great job defending Europe over here. Still had a massive army. The problem is, it has to be spread out all over the place. You know what I mean? So it's Germany has to defend so much territory, and it's really we'll see how this next game goes. Hopefully we can play as well with the Allies. Hopefully we can have a half-decent tech program. as I said, we jumped way out in front with our large ship and improved construction over which, like I said, Hambone, I think he said it in his last video. Took him a long time. I think it was 3 turns ago that he just got large ship construction, you know. And, you know, I got far enough ahead he wasn't able to keep up. The English had a great tech program. I mean, I think they, over here with heavy armor, I don't think they finished it. And logistics, I think he said he was at 3, but it might have been 2. But, I mean, they had long-range aircraft, which when I play England, I love to have that. I'm really starting to like amphib doctrine more and more for everybody that's going to do some attacking other than maybe Russia or Germany. Improved construction's always the great one. Factories, too. Sub-warfare and radar, you kind of need that. So, I mean, but to hit them all, and he hit them all early because he did real well with tech. The Russians, too, they did good with their tech. Same with the Germans. The Germans did pretty well. We did pretty well. I mean, heavy armor, I don't even know if I bought one. But I wouldn't, you know, factories, construction, radar, some that you need, long-range aircraft, large ship, like I said. The Italians, large ship never came into play. Improved construction and long-range aircraft. I like long-range aircraft for anybody. I feel that it's such a disadvantage if you don't have it. As I said, the Americans did well. They got, they didn't do real well, really. I mean, they got their tech, but, I mean, they completed what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I don't know if 10's a lot with 7 factories to be completed. I mean, I'd have to look back, but it doesn't seem great for tech. But anyway, like I said, it was a great victory for the Allies. I thought they played really good. I felt constant pressure in my position. I'm not sure about Chris if he felt as much pressure as I did, but man, I felt a lot of pressure this game. And, you know, I was at the point here at the end, like I said, I was more worried about saving on Tokyo now, you know, just trying to hold on to my 3 points, which I was able to. But like I said, Nanking was gone. Just a matter of time. You know, felt like I was being decked by 1,000 knives, you know, because I knew they were coming. And just poking away a little at a time, you know, taking your cash. But anyway, congrats again to Hambone and Silk with a nice victory. And this is Boston Brews signing off.